Welcome to another episode of the Very Not Random podcast. Last week was part one of myself and Boz chatting with the legend, Chuck Carswell himself. Lots of laughs, lots of great information. In case you missed it, go back, listen or watch that one, get all the groundwork. And in today's episode, it's the conclusion of our conversation with Chuck Carswell.
Oh yeah,
there's been a little bit of an evolution. You know, I remember probably at least once or twice with you gentlemen being somewhere at a seminar at some random part, probably Dirty South, quite frankly, and doing some stuff that at the time, unbeknownst to us, would reshape policy, such as, you know, hey, you shouldn't work out so hard during lunch that you are not able to communicate for 30 minutes or so after that. I remember
getting back to that.
I think it was in Florida sometime. We did some, I don't even remember what the workout was. Okay.
I do. I do.
This is when Mike G had to get up afterwards and do like the GHD lecture or something like that. And of course, Mike G is a ferocious animal. So he went so hard. It's crazy. And even though 10 minutes had gone by, I think he like walked up with like no shoes on to the GHD, like just leaned on it in pain. It was like, oh, and like couldn't start speaking, you know? So it's like,
there's so many stories like that. Just all over the place.
You remember the workout, Chuck?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the team workout where it was wall balls, deadlifts, and a sprint down to the opposite end of the gym and back and tag your partner. So it was like literally wide open. Yeah. And I think you might have put it as like, I don't know, 5 rounds or 20-minute AMRAP, but the intervals was so doggone short that we just kept going. And of course it ran right up to the time we were supposed to be back in the classroom. So, yeah.
You know, the best part about that too, to go back to something we were talking about, the early level 2s, you know, I think sometimes people didn't have the insight into the other end of it, which is we were so ruthless with feedback to each other in those days. Yeah. Like this was not just, you know, a hard go for people that wanted to get that training certificate. It was internally ruthless about, you know, if you didn't do something that was, you know, good for the group or good for the seminar, like you knew about it and there was no bones about it. So
in keeping with that, I might get the individual wrong, but when I think of direct feedback, I think of Todd Widman.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I think he was giving feedback to, who was it? Maybe it was one of you. I think it was like Joe Alexander or Chris Spieler, Joe Westlands. You know, since there was somebody like that where they were an intern under Todd or a new trainer under Todd. You know, they were on staff, but a newer trainer. And afterwards, there's the debrief, you know, where the flowmaster will, like you said, make you better. And something happened, and let's just say it was Joe Alexander, because that just makes the story better in general. And so something had happened, and Joe said something, or the person said something like, oh, well, I can tell you why I did that. I know it didn't look right, but I could tell you why. Todd was like, this goes better if I just talk and you just listen.
Oh, man.
And so truth, like there was harsh, straightforward feedback, not only to participants, but amongst ourselves as well. And you got real good at taking that feedback and even when it was given directly, you know, like I'm using that story in jest, like it was given from a place of just listen, man, like this is what you need to hear. Right. So let's just take it on board, internalize it, apply it to next time, and our brief will be shorter. And you know, and life will be great.
Oh man, I still remember some of the first feedback I got from Dave. This was early days, like old Santa Cruz, like 2007, one of the first gigs I ever helped out at. And we were running, I didn't remember the group we were doing, but it was after one of the group breakouts. And, you know, we come back in together and I'm all fresh-faced and enthusiastic. And I'm kind of waiting for the attaboy. And Dave just looks at me and says, don't ever do that again. And I was like, oh, completely not what I had expected.
No,
I was just like, okay. Oh, man.
You know, I want to say, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, man, it's like, we people often try to, ask questions like, what is it that makes a great trainer? And, what help me be better and all this stuff. And it's like, in order for you to be better, you have to be able to hear the stuff that you don't want to hear. Those attaboys, attagirls, when those things are all said and done, and you lay out this roadmap of this is what needs to improve, that's the stuff that you hang on to. And if you can, honestly, that stuff is probably, it doesn't have an expiration date on it. It's like, you can constantly use some of that stuff to improve for years and years to come. I remember the early days. I'm kind of like you, Boz. The feedback I was expecting, I think I got a lot of it from you, Pat, in the early days. I wrote that stuff down, might have even been sent to me in email, and I would literally have it in my manual so that Friday night when I got to the hotel, I'd pull that stuff out and reread the stuff that was 4 or 5 months old just to make sure that it was still trying to sharpen and hone the skill over that time frame, and didn't forget the pitfalls that are out there that you could easily fall back into if you're not kind of on your game, So
and there you have it. Right? You know what that reminds me of, Boz? That reminds me of whenever it was we just did that interview with Wes Pyatt about his affiliate, which is amazing. And then we finally dug into like, why is it amazing? It wasn't by accident. Like he had an intentional process. It might have looked effortless because you showed up to the class and everything went well and, this is just fun and easy. But it's that way because a lot of people busted their tail to make it that way and you just didn't see the work. So what you're saying right there, exactly, you see somebody talented, whether it's Chuck or somebody else, get up there, deliver this lecture, their points there, they have the answers to the questions, the timelines there, they're engaging. And it's so easy to be like, this guy's just got it. It's just, I wish I was him. It's just, there's some people just have it made and it's easy. And what you don't see is during the 3-hour flight, you're not watching a movie. You're just reviewing all the feedback. And then at breakfast, it's out there again. And then you're asking for it from other people. And it's a constant process that is behind the scenes. Then you show up, the lights go on, you walk out and you execute well. Well, people don't see the practice, right? They just see the execution.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll put on my West Coast hat here a little bit and add to that I think part of the reason that we could be so straightforward with one another is there was like a layer of trust, I believe, and I think that's fostered in any group that you're going to last in, that you can hear that kind of feedback. It's like you have enough freedom to do a little bit of experimentation. You got enough structure that you know what's expected. You have enough kind of freedom to experiment within that. And there's enough underlying trust in the group that you're getting this feedback because it ultimately is what needs to happen to push everybody forward. It's not just there to try to take somebody down, or it's not there to try to, discourage you. Maybe sometimes, maybe once in a while, but in general, it's this underlying network of, the good things that allow you to be so straightforward. And I think that's the balance that people have to try to get in their affiliate, with their clients, whatever that happens to be. It's both sides of it that make it work.
And man, if you could put that in a bottle, you'd have something special, right? Like, I don't care if you're level 1 staff, if you're a sports team, put your darn ego aside, realize what you need to be a better player on the team. And, and it's so basic and obvious having the conversation. Like, yeah, of course. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? But in the moment when someone goes, hey, let me tell you what you really did poorly today. You're like, I don't want to hear that. Why don't you take that noise somewhere else? Let's go over the highlight reel.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think it's hard for people to detach from taking that personally. You know what I mean? Yeah. It can be really affronting when somebody's like, hey, this is what you need to do. It's hard not to get defensive, and it's hard not to take that as like wait, you think less of me as a person. It's like, no, not at all. Yeah. This just needs to happen for us to continue to refine it.
Yeah. I try to tell my kids that too, if they're, going to play like a hard game and they're like, we're probably going to lose. And, it's tough to get across to a 9-year-old, but I'm like, hey, that's okay. Like you learn more from the losses than you ever will from the wins. You got some stuff you can sift through the ashes after a loss, figure out why it went sideways and not do that again and strengthen yourself. But just, hey, we blew them out of the water. Great. You might not have become better from that game. You just, blew them out of the water, did a whole lot of high fives.
It also takes somebody typically not in the moment to be able to put the perspective, because sometimes you can attach the negative in a fashion that really wasn't accurate because you're emotionally attached to it. It's the baby that you just delivered. And so what went wrong, you might not be able to even accurately identify exactly what that thing was in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And it might take someone else from the outside to be able to bring that thing in. I'll give you a perfect example. 1989 punt returner, University of Georgia. We're in the Georgia-Florida game. It's just the biggest game, world outdoor cocktail party is what they call it. and so the ball's back. I'm, 18 years old. The ball gets punted and I'm looking up in the sky. Mind you, it's windy as crap. Ball gets turned all around. And instead of catching it, it literally goes right through my hands onto the ground. Right. And I'm like, oh God, and of course, all 80,000 people, half of them are going, oh no, like you, Pat. And the other ones are going, get the damn ball, that kind of stuff. Right. And so I bend over to try to pick it up. And of course I look up instead of grabbing the ball and get separated from it, get knocked out. Basically Florida picks up the ball going 1st and 10 the other direction. And I run to the sideline. Now, mind you, I'm 18 years old now. I'm avoiding Coach Vince Dooley as much as I possibly can. I'm literally going to see the trainer and check out my fake injury, my fringery, right? So I'm headed over there, and literally he goes, Chuck, and I turn, of course, and hear him, and he walks me over to him and puts his arm around me, and he goes, do you know what you did wrong? I said, yeah, I dropped the damn ball. And he said, no, you didn't. He said, dropping the ball wasn't the problem. He said, you tried to pick it up. And it's like, damn, right there. I had a plan. If your ball ever hits the ground, don't be ridiculous. Just fall on it and it's still our ball. But you do something other or interpret what you did as just being the problem. And it wasn't that. I just failed to execute based on the protocol that we had. So sometimes outside voices can help you see the feedback you need to see. So,
I know as much about sports as a newborn baby, as both you guys know. I don't follow a lot of sports. So my question in that situation was, I love that feedback and I love how he delivered it. Was that a singularity, or was he somebody who was consistently a good leader and consistently good at delivering feedback and messages that were potentially what you didn't want to hear, a mistake?
Yeah. And so as a coach, you've got 90 scholarship athletes maybe in the room. And so I've got to say that my experience with him was he was a consistent, great leader. There might have been other people that heard things differently, saw things, had different interactions, but my experience was he was a great leader. And here was the real kicker. The kicker was, I thought that it was going to be over. I wasn't going to go back out for punt returns because now I basically potentially cost us the game. And he said, right before I walked off, he said, get your head together because you got to go back. And it's like, oh, crap. Okay, great. So the feedback is not that going back to what you said, boss, that I'm going to strip you of all the pieces, but I still trust you enough that you're still part of the team and an integral part of the team that you've got to get back out there. And so I've got to keep your confidence level up enough that you go out and don't make another dumb mistake, but that you go out and do what you've been trained to do. And so, just a unique moment for feedback. And so to me, when I walked into the CrossFit space and I've got guys like Boz, like Todd, like, you, Pat, and some of the other leaders, Lisa Ray and all those other leaders giving me feedback, it's like, it's a lot easier to take that, at least from my perspective, because I've had it and I've got a history of taking it. So just a little perspective there on that. So
that's great that he
really is,
because there's two parts of that, right? There's the delivering of the message, which seems like he did very well, without making you feel dumb or, inept or whatever it happened to be. But then also letting you know that, hey, I still got confidence in you, man. You're still on the team. Let's go do this.
Yeah. Just rally the troops. Let's go, man. We still got a job to do.
Yeah, because I think you have to view it in the right mindset. Any good leader, in my opinion, is going to frame their feed work around what is going to be best for the outcome of everybody involved, or to create the best outcome for everybody involved. It doesn't take somebody that's particularly sophisticated to just criticize everything that's going on. That's not easy. That's not hard to do. Being a pessimist and just pointing out flaws, there's very little utility in that. And it takes somebody that's a lot more refined to find, okay, what is the thing that we can do to fix this and make it, advance and keep everybody involved, all of those things that we've just been talking about. So that's cool.
It took a bit when I first got introduced to you and we started working together. I didn't know your athletic background, didn't know you were such a high level athlete or whatnot. I just remember there was one of the first times that we were working out during lunch that I identified that you were not a normal human being. Right, so we were doing something, and I look over, and I see you do a thruster, and you do get that barbell math that goes through your head. I'm like, what's that? What's that weight? What's that weight? And this was, I would say, 12 years ago, by the way, and there was 275 pounds on the bar.
Oh yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
Thruster,
I remember that.
For a thruster, 12 years ago, I was like, who is this guy? Is he a cyborg? Who does a thruster with 275 pounds? It's like 2009. I mean, that would be a front squat that we would post on the main page as like something to brag about. This guy just threw it overhead. I was like, you know what? This guy's obnoxious. I don't want to work out with him anymore. He's no fun. You remember that?
I think that's. I do. I think it was. Oh, sorry. The lag here.
No.
Go ahead, Chuck.
No, I think that too, Pat, was after our epic cheat night in West Palm Beach on Halloween too. I think.
Oh, Halloween in West Palm.
That was Saturday, I think, and Saturday or Sunday and Saturday, I think. Saturday in West Palm Beach.
That's when you know that you travel too much, because I don't know if you were there yet or hadn't flown in yet, but of course it was Dirty South, so of course Mike G was there, and I remember being with Mike and maybe whatever day that was, we were at like a diner eating somewhere, and there was a window there, and we saw some people walk by in like costumes, and this is when you just live out of a suitcase and the months of blur, and we're like, look at these weirdos, what's happening down here? People are dressed up like Dracula and like what's going on? And then somebody was like, dude, is it Halloween? And we're like, holy cow, it is Halloween. We had no idea. It's just that's when travel blurs. You've done potentially too many seminars, and your life is a series of airports, rental cars, and hotels.
Live your life there, right?
Yeah. Let's just get the number. How many seminars have you worked? This is top secret level.
Been a few. It is. It's not quite top secret. They've obviously keep a running total of it. And first of all, let me just tell you that I would not be at the number that I'm at had you guys that are leaders before me not stepped out and decided to take other roles and do other things. I just know, let's be honest, because you guys were in it before me and grinded just as much as I did. But it's well over 500, closer to 6 than 5. So it's like
nice.
Last I checked, I think it's like 567 or something like that. 567.
Chuck, do you ever think about just the wake of people that have been brought up under that? Do you know what I mean? Like you think about like in sports, they talk about the coaching lineage or coaching trees from time to time. Do you ever think about the branch of people that you have influenced through that work and how many of them have gone on to then influence people in their community? And like, that's a pretty powerful thing to be sitting at the head of.
Yeah. And, Boz, I don't think about it until I see someone and they mention it, like, hey, by the way, you did my level 1, or you did my level 2, or you did my level 1 and my level 2. And I just want you to know, I've opened the gym. It's been open for 6 years now. And I've got 9 trainers, and 2 of them have gone on to open the Phillies. Like, that's when it's like, whoa, the magnitude of that kind of impact it's not something I think about regularly. Typically what I think about is the points that I have on my airline and the points I have for my hotels. But it's a pretty cool concept. And but again, it's just one of those things that only comes up when people mention it. So.
Well, doing some just back of the napkin math, if you say 50 people per seminar, which sometimes more, sometimes less, but an average of 50 people times 560 seminars is 28,000 people.
Wow. Direct contacts
that you have touched or delivered the message to, or they've had the opportunity to bounce a question or idea off of you. And how 28, if you influence 200 people, they could do some good. but 28,000 going out, and not just in the U.S. We're talking worldwide.
Right. Yeah. And I've been on some flights with both of you guys overseas and out of distance and stuff that that's taken us overseas and places like that. So yeah, it's hard to even think about it. Like I said, man, I can't help but be grateful and just thankful for all the people that have helped me along the way and provided some good stuff for me. So it's good.
And I know that CrossFit and yourself in general can sometimes, for at least for the longest time, I could say titles and positions, were loose, of where you worked across it. Everybody did their thing, but there may not be the fancy title that some other companies would have. So right now, what is your either title or role, responsibilities? What's on your plate?
Yeah, so there's a decent amount. I'm currently the official manager of the CrossFit Scholarship program, which is the initiative we started last year. I'm also on the AAR review and development team. So there's some trainer responsibility that we get. And I've got a little mentor group of flowmasters that are around the country that are doing the things that we've all done, be on the road and manage their own groups. And so, it's a little bit of everything, to help out where I can. And then every now and then, Boz will recommend that I do some stuff in front of the camera and, get there occasionally and, and just try not to screw it up, Now, try to be a good steward of the opportunities.
The scholarship program wasn't something that was around when I was there. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with it, kind of enlighten us as to what's that all about.
Yeah, so the CrossFit Scholarship Program is an opportunity that we use for youth and young adults to expose them to the level 1 kernel. And so what we offer is the CrossFit level 1 2-day seminar, but we do it without the test. And so we get a firsthand exposure to, again, youth and young adults. That is the 2-day kernel. They get the same level 1 that all three of us got, where they have an opportunity to recognize that there's a training protocol along with the nutrition protocol that could benefit not only them, but their families. And it's a program we've started that has multiple layers and levels to it that could take someone from first exposure all the way up to and including coaching and owning a gym. There's a path that's laid out for those guys. And so, it's a pretty cool program. We partner with nonprofits to bring this about and also affiliates. And so we do the level 1 in an affiliate with a partnership from a nonprofit for the kids to get involved.
I guess that was going to be my question is who's in the audience, or how does somebody become deemed qualified or deserving of a scholarship spot?
Yeah. And so the hard thing for us is that, obviously what I do, I'm located in Metro Atlanta. It's very difficult for me to fly into Philadelphia and determine who actually deserves this program. And so our partnerships rely heavily on those that are doing the work in the community. And they are the ones that vet the kids to get the chance to come to the level 1. And so it does two things. Number one, it ensures that the folks that are getting the exposure are the ones that they feel, can benefit best from this initial offering. And then 2, it's an easy way for the kids to have ongoing mentorship and relationship with folks that actually know exactly what their program is about and how to incorporate the day-to-day CrossFit piece to their nonprofit organization or club.
And are these kids that either don't have the financial means to go there or have other hardships going on in life? What's the general cut of society there?
Yeah, the cool thing is we set it up to be kind of like the underrepresented and underserved community. And what we've noticed is that when we go to different cities, that phrase takes on, a varied kind of meaning and approach. So some of the kids don't have the financial backing. Some of the kids have challenges with academics. Some of the kids are phenomenal students and athletes, but just don't have the finances to get to this kind of opportunity. And others might be on their very last chance in something like a juvenile system and have the opportunity to provide a path for them, to not only give them an outlet to work out and be able to deal with all the internal things that go along with classic CrossFit workouts, but also, hey, this is something that could be an opportunity for you in the future for job, career, or just an outlet. So.
And obviously it's easy to see where I would assume, people would like that road to lead. It's exactly like you said. Who wouldn't want somebody who is in a hard place or just got a raw deal in life to have a chance, to have an opportunity to pull yourself out and make something happen, to take your life in a more positive direction. Have you been a part of this, or has it been around long enough to start to hear some of those stories come back to you yet, or is it still somewhat in its infancy?
It's still in its infancy. I mean, COVID obviously has decimated much of what has happened around the planet. We've had to cancel quite a few because, the areas that we were headed to just couldn't work because either the city, state, the province, whatever, wouldn't allow us to do it and hold a congregation. But then there's others where nonprofits have wanted to partner with us, but because of their restrictions, they couldn't even get the kids to come back to their locations. So, it's been a combination of both in terms of how we execute and don't. The long-term approach, obviously, is to get as many kids as want to all the way out on the very far ends of the opportunity, from gym ownership to job and things of that nature. We've actually had 4 kids that have now come back and taken the level, 3 that have taken, and 1 that's in the pipeline that's coming back to take the level 1 to become a coach. And all 3 of the first 3 we've had have actually passed the test and are coaching as we know it right now. So.
Oh, very, very cool. Nice.
Yeah.
From so many seminars, however many passports you've gone through, traveling around the world and whatnot, and different questions. I mean, you get to hear questions from people in basically every city in the U.S., over in Europe, Australia. I mean, wherever it is. They always say that it doesn't matter where you are if you're doing CrossFit, you're kind of part of the same clique or crew or community, right? Do you hear? Are there common threads, questions, topics, misconceptions that after dealing with 28,000 people recur over and over again, regardless of what city, country, state you're in? And if so, what are a couple of like the ones that doesn't matter where I am, I can count on here and this?
Yeah. I'm going to give you kind of like the category that I put them in. And then, because the specific questions are probably not quite as accurate being from city to city, but all of them come back to culture that you're creating in your facility, period.
Okay.
And so it's like, as a trainer, how do I go ahead and go from being a part of the workout crew to now leading the group? As a gym owner at a level 2, it's like, hey, what do I do with the athlete that's shaving reps? What do I do with the person that always comes in 10 minutes late, even though they live 3 minutes from this facility and don't work a job, that kind of thing. All of those things to me can be categorized as the culture that you're creating at your facility. And the one thing that I kind of, harp on next to feedback is, as a gym owner, as a trainer leading a class, whatever culture you set or don't set is exactly the culture you're going to get down the road. And so if you want people to not put their weights away until the last person's done, you'd better create that. If you want, when new people come into the facility, have a couple of members go up and introduce themselves, you have to create that thing. If you want people to consistently count the accurate reps, WOD brains sometimes happen, but if you want that to happen, you got to create a scenario that if you lose count on your reps, what do? Do you pretend, make up a number? Do you go back to the last number you recall? Or do you just move away from that set and go on to something else? All of those things can be categorized as what kind of culture are you going to create in your facility?
Interesting.
And that really resonates with what we talked to Wes about previously. If you guys haven't, I know Pat mentioned it already, but go check out that episode. I mean, this is so similar in just kind of messaging. I couldn't agree more. I think that people sometimes forget that the absence of definition around some of those things means that basically the first person to act is the one that's going to set the tone for the rest of the group. So if you have something like that where it's just undefined, whatever the first person does, they don't put their dumbbells away, nobody's going to. And then that's it. The culture's set. Now you have to counteract it as opposed to establish it in the first place. Man, that is such a great point. Such a great insight.
Yeah. So accurate, Buzz. It's good stuff. Yeah. I probably stole it from you, so thank you.
I doubt it.
Do all these seminars blend together, or out of over 500, are there still a couple? I hate to say what's your favorite, right? Because now you're going to alienate somebody. But
Yeah.
is there
Yeah.
one or two, for whatever reason, that for whatever reason stick in your head as just a home run, or or
Total disaster.
a comedic disaster the other way?
Well, I'm still employed by CrossFit, so I'm not going to talk about the comedic disasters. But obviously, you guys, you've heard, just we've highlighted some of them. Obviously meeting Boz at the internship, and obviously the few that you Pat, the multiple ones we've had. I mean, there's so many that are highlighted, but if I had to pluck a couple out, there's probably some that are landmark days besides the ones we've already addressed. One of them was when we got a chance to fly over and do a level 1 in Afghanistan. Like to be able to pull that off. I think it was me, Nadia, Jenny Orr, Miranda at the time, and John Gilson, I believe was the crew. And, that's one of those seminars that stands out because it really wasn't about us. It wasn't about, our experience. It was about, hey, some of these girls and guys are coming off the battlefield to participate in this 2-day experience. And so no matter what we got going on, no matter how crappy the travel was or how good it was, this is not about us. It's about them. So that's definitely one. And the second one is the one that happened in Texas. It was the Wounded Warriors level 1. And that one stands out because I haven't felt inadequate as a trainer many times. That was one where, I've got to keep honing my skill. And so to deal with, with athletes that are, a month out of surgery and still experiencing pain and, changing their wounds and stuff like that. Like that was one of those moments where it's like, I've got drama, I've got problems, but again, this is not comparable to what these guys, are experiencing. And so, just trying to figure out all of my scripted trainer knowledge and experience, my cues and stuff didn't fit that moment. And it's like, the mindset change, Boz kind of hinted on it a little while back, that the mindset change that had to happen in that moment was, hey, no matter what as a trainer, you've got to figure out how to get this done. But you're only going to be limited by 2 things. Number 1, your creativity. And number 2, the safety of these athletes that you're dealing with. And so at that moment, Andrew Thompson, who was on that seminar, helped me tremendously because, again, felt inadequate. I started to think more like a problem solver as opposed to a trainer. And all of a sudden the world of cues comes out. You've got this brand new bag of tricks that that are available to you because you're not going down the laundry list. You've got to fix something that's right in front of you. And so those are probably my 2 standouts for the ones that left a mark,
So I think those are some excellent ones. Was your family like, what do you mean you're going to Afghanistan?
Oh yeah. Man, that would be.
Yeah. Weren't you supposed to go to Cincinnati? No, Afghanistan.
That's a conversation that had to happen, and not knowing Dave that well at the time, I was like, come on now, I work for this company, there's military guys and girls in there. I'm sure it's going to be 100% safe. And, I painted that picture, and lo and behold, our last night there in Afghanistan, I think the president at the time was Obama, and his plane was actually over there at Bagram Air Force Base, which is where we were. And we're in the little hut, the little housing area before you run out under the tarmac and get in the C-17 to take off. And they shot, I guess, an IED over the wall, and, boom. And, of course, everybody in there is, on the floor. And I'm a civilian, dude. I'm just like panicked. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Screaming on the floor. Fortunately, it didn't actually hit the building, but it did destroy a couple of planes that were out there. And of course, it was a pretty scary situation. But again, those guys had experienced it the entire time, so they knew exactly what to do, the questions to ask. And it was like, the civilian me was just over there just shivering like a baby. But yeah. So,
yeah, but that's fair enough.
I don't
man.
remember what the point was.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, that's if you haven't heard that come in and hit the ground, it's an unnerving sound. It'll catch you off guard.
It did for sure.
It'll catch you off guard. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll wrap up with one final question. Okay, then I'll let you get back to your day. When's the last time? There's some memories I have with you of suffering that are cemented in my head. So I'm curious, when's the last time you did the front squat medley?
Are you responsible for that, Pat? Was that you?
Pat is responsible for that.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it.
Yes,
Wait,
sir.
the deadlift medley too? Was that you also?
Then we did with
that might have been.
Yeah, but we made
Montclair
it
no E, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Todd Whitman went crazy. We did it with Deds that day. Traditionally done with the front squats, but that was the deadlift. And for anyone at home, first of all, I would preface, don't do it.
Do not do this.
Don't do it. But what it was
Don't do it.
was in a pinch when we didn't have a lot of time to lift during the seminar at lunch, you'd get real loose real quick. You'd load up 185 on the bar. You would front squat to basically failure. And then the next person would come in, they'd front squat to failure. You get 3 or 4 people, because the more people, the more rest. And then, once you did that, by the time the 4th person failed, you can probably stand again. You'd strip the bar down to 135, max out front squats at 135, lay on the ground, rolling around, till it became your turn again. And then the final set, the worst set, was executed at 95 pounds. And man, we did that far too many times.
Yeah, that was a trip down the pain cave that I won't ever forget. Yeah. So, I think I want to say one of the worst was when Spieler did it with us, and I think he got to 95. I was so proud. Yeah, so proud of my numbers. I think we had both cleared like some ridiculous amount, and of course, that number came and went when Spiel did it, and he ended up at something like, I don't know, like 75 or something crazy like that. So with 95 pounds,
right. I remember.
So
I remember somewhere. I think we were in Texas, and Nadia Shatila was part of the mix, and I don't know who else was with it as well, but she was on the lightest barbell. Not an exaggeration, literally weeping. as she was
but still moving.
But still front squatting. She would get to the top and weep. A couple little tears would roll down her face, and she'd like get a couple more breaths, do 2 more reps, come up, couple tears, couple breaths, couple more reps, and it's like, wildly inappropriate. Wild, but I tell you what, you want to build a team that's traveling the world, suffering together, bonding together, laughing together. Man, we did it, brother. We did it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I did it, but I can tell you it probably wasn't as good as if when we all did it together. That's much I can tell you. So it's been a while. It's been a good minute.
Well, yeah, we'll put that one. We'll shelve that one for now. We'll come back to it. But Chuck.
The company lunches won't be the same. The company lunches won't be the same. You're going to have people trying to implement this thing going forward. It's going to be devastating.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
In all honesty, man, let me extend my heartfelt thanks for you being so generous with your time. And before you can say something kind, because you're so annoying, you probably will, so I'll shut you down right now. Allow me to say, I have learned more from you than you have no idea. So bottom of my heart,
Amen.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love you guys,
Thank
man.
you. Oh, right back at you, Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll see you guys soon, man. I really appreciate the time. Thanks for having me.
See you soon.
Awesome, man.